in terms of things like course design, in terms of class availability. Those are the kinds of things where we're really providing data back to units that they really need in order to make informed decisions. So, with that, I'd like to basically say, if you have any questions about it, then fire away.
What types of questions get asked on the survey? Well, does it possibly to finish?
Right. It's a 20-minute survey. There are a couple of open-ended questions, so if you really go to town on those, you might go for a little bit over 20 minutes. Some people put in very long responses to those.
It asks about like basic satisfaction, say in your department, at the university, climate issues. Do you feel like you belong here? Do you feel comfortable expressing yourself? Do you think students like you or respected? Talks about like course availability. How many professors do you know well? What do you want to do when you get out of here, if you have any idea? Do you plan to study abroad? Have you participated in research? Do you talk to professors outside of class? How much of your reading do you do? How much do you sleep on an average weeknight? So, a lot of questions.
You mentioned that one of the things you really like with the benefits kind of is drilling down into the department level. Is this the right dynamic at all? If I say that I'm an East major, is some of the later questions so we're going to tailor towards that, or is it identical for all students?
It's identical for all students in that sense. The questions don't change, but obviously a lot of the analysis is fine.
And you have a chance to go in and say, when you're taking the survey, it'll say, oh, I see you're an EECS major, and you can say, yeah, I want to evaluate my EECS major, or I'm also in the School of Music, and that's the major I want to evaluate. You get to tell the university which department you would like to talk about.
Besides the opportunity to provide your own opinion, what are the other incentives for students to fill this application?
There are prizes.
I don't know if you've seen like the kind of prizes that are typically offered with the university type of survey, but some of the things we bump up against are Michigan state laws. Michigan has some funny regulations, but we do offer like $30 $100 cash prizes, and so you just draw student names. The other incentive you have, Will and my undying gratitude. The opportunity, I think, to make the University of Michigan better for yourself or for the students who come after you.
This year we will also be piloting a trophy for the highest response rate by departments. A shiny silver trophy.
I'm curious, is there any equivalent for graduate professional students on campus?
There is not, as far as we know.
You mentioned you guys did a survey last year. Where can we access the results?
Right, so there is a kind of, there are some confidentiality questions surrounding exactly what parts of the results we can publish. We're in the process of kind of putting together documents to sort of give a summary of the results. And we'll give you some addresses at the end. You can go and see what we have already. There's actually also, with your question about what the survey has, there's also a link to the
actual survey.
To the survey from last year. And it's changed a little bit this year, but it's essentially the same. So you can kind of go through and see what it's about.
So what we don't have on the website yet, but we'll have really shortly, is kind of like a quick takes, which has kind of a basic, it has like an overall kind of university snapshot of us compared to the other people who took it. And so that will at least give you a flavor. But our focus, I think, as Will said, is like less about getting an institutional snapshot and more about getting individual information down to units and departments. So, if your department's very interested in advising, well, then we can produce information what students said about advising and get it to them. Another institution might care more about the climate, or how much research participation, or are students able to get the classes they need to graduate.
Yeah.
So the data, we will do doing some basic reporting, but I think a lot of it's just kind of try to do on-the-fly ad hoc things that will help decision makers.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point to make, because it is really the key to this thing, is that you can sort of publish a thing which says 70% of students at the University of Michigan are satisfied or very satisfied with the quality of instruction. That's a nice thing to put on your website, but it doesn't really tell you anything about students. But what's really great, we think, about this survey, when we've been going out to units and talking to people who are like student advisors, or say like the associate dean for undergraduate teaching, that kind of thing, you know, they're at a level, especially in a smaller unit or in a department within a smaller unit, where they're actually seeing responses at a much more sort of micro level, and it's more that they're actually, you know, partly it just confirms things that they may be hearing in the halls, but then also it maybe adds an extra dimension, things that people aren't telling them directly to their faces, but they might feel more comfortable putting in a survey. So I think that that's the level of information which is really useful, and it's not the kind of thing that communicates particularly well in like a summary document.
Something else that I just came to mind, I meant to say earlier, next year, one of the sets of questions they're adding is about affordability, and what kind of actions you students have had to take, if any, to meet college expenses. And then there's also an opportunity to tell the university what the cost of attendance is, what kind of effect that's had on your experience here. And we think that's important because one of the open-ended questions on the survey, kind of the big one that everyone gets to answer, is what's the most important thing you think the university could do to improve, you know, this experience for students like you? And we had an awful lot of comments about tuition and cost. And we took all of the tuition and cost comments, went directly to the provost and the associate provost. They've been looking at all of those. But what's nice about having a new question that just is soliciting information about tuition and costs, it'll still leave you space to talk about other things as well.
Back to the prize incentive.
Yeah.
How do students per se obtain one of these or all of these prizes? How is this decided?
Well, just we do a random drawing of all the names. You'll be notified, and you have an opportunity. And the university's always changing the way they do their subject fee things, but you can come to our office and get a form, and you can take it to the cashier's office and get your $100 cash. So.
Nice. Any other questions?
One of the concerns it seems like you've had is that you have a survey, you're one of 100 email surveys on a given semester, and things like that. Have you considered maybe trying to work with C-Tools and their very, very persistent teacher questionnaire functionality, which will email you daily until you fill them out, or something like that, to kind of try and be a little more in your face? Because it'd be annoying for most surveys, but it seems like this is something that might merit that kind of action.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say we would merit it. I mean, we're very we're very conscious that people get bombarded with this stuff, and we don't want to send very many emails. And that's maybe that is why our response rate was low, and it could be higher if you're sending more emails. What we want to do this year is send more targeted emails, so students will probably be receiving emails from, say, the program manager of their undergraduate program, which is hopefully someone that they know a bit better, and these emails they pay slightly more attention to. But yes, we're actually talking to the people who run the recruitment campaign for the online assessment, and so they're going to give us that too.
But there should be a gateway to the survey on Wolverine Access, on C-Tools, so even if you ignore every email I send you, you'll still have other places where you'll run into the survey and would have a chance to take it. We're gonna try not to harangue people. Last year, one thing I will tell you is you hate to get emails about surveys. If you took the thing, you get off the email list and you don't get bugged anymore. So.
Fair enough. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for coming
in. Just one other thing. So the website itself is umay.umich.edu, really simple, and our email addresses are on there, so if you want to get in touch with us.
Great.
So right now the results that I talked about aren't up there, but I think maybe within the next couple days we'll have them up there.
Cool. All right, moving right along to section 6 of the agenda, community input. This is a time where individuals are given 3 minutes to address the assembly. And I have 2 names right now, and I will open up the floor later. So first we have Adam. You have 3 minutes.
How's it going? My name is Adam Hailula. I'm co-president with Big Ticket Productions here at Michigan. We are a concert programming group under UAC, University Activity Center. And basically I just wanted to talk to you guys about a possible concert collaboration for the spring with MSA. We've been meeting with Vishal and Abhishek since about November, trying to discuss this.